Hello, everybody. This is Techstack here. Get some music going. Start all of the things that I forget about every time. We won't do restream tonight. It's not updated. So, last night we left it with a bug, right? And that bug was that we were rendering the blueprint in the wrong position relative to the tower crane, right? So I have since figured out why that's happening. I have not come up with a good solution how to fix it yet, unfortunately. That's kind of unusual. Usually, when I find it, that's usually enough for me to figure out why and fix it. Hey, Ramon. Wait a minute. You're not under your normal name, are you? So what I've done is I've coded a if statement around it. Cooking the moment chicken with Cantonese rice. Okay. Interesting. So is that spicy Cantonese food? I don't think I've ever had Cantonese. That's your normal name? What? What? Okay. So like I was saying, I've coded out the part, or put an if statement around the part that actually draws it, because that's really not a have to have, that's a nice to have, right? And what a have to have is, which was the whole reason that we went down that path of having that thing render it, was we needed the packet. Right, but I thought you were something else then. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. Maybe you're not who I thought you were. Anyway, what I was saying was, that's throwing me for a loop. Yeah, okay, I thought I was Reaper. You're normally under Esteban or something when you log into the stream. Anyway, we needed to know that we had the packet going to the client, and that was one way for me to know that I had it. And it is working, it is there, it is right. We've seen all the blocks. Just to show off what I did do, if I go into the render code somewhere in here. Yeah, but just the other night I thought you were in here as... Maybe not. Maybe I'm just confused. I thought you were Esteban in here. That's what was throwing me off, for real. And then you had me like second guess myself and thinking you were somebody else. Like, as soon as you said Senpai, I figured, oh, this is Reaper. So you can see we can render it, but the issue is it's rendering all sides when you look at it from some angles, even the back's faces. I am confused, yes. I am all of the confusion. And that's not what I was going for, right? I want it to look more like this, where it's a smooth render out what the blueprint would be. But doing this makes it look funky, right? And I'm basically going to have to rewrite or implement my own version of a lot of the code. So for now, this is not going to render until I can prioritize things. So I'm having some system problems today. Hopefully the stream's not going to mess up on us. Let's see. We're at half CPU, half memory. Okay. So like earlier today I had a crash that was saying like all the memory on my system was used, which that's a lot because I have 32 gigs in this thing. So I'm going to keep that open on my other screen and see if something funky's going on. But like my Discord just went all black for some reason. So we know that the data's here. We can use this. The thing I wanted to do with this data was to figure out what blocks we need in the inventory and then somehow list that out to the player, right? So we need, I don't know, 6 of these iridium ores, right? That type of thing. So to do that, we will first undo this so it doesn't render that anymore, because it's not the way I want it to be in its final state. And then we'll come into, gosh, the GUI, I guess. That's not GUI. Client GUI. For tower crane. And think through how we're going to achieve this, right? We can create a brand new GUI altogether. Kind of annoying, but it's one option. We do have 2 tower crane. Okay, so we'd have to create a container as well. The container would be very straightforward. It'd be like this one here with not much to it. And see, my YouTube page just crapped out on me. Not running out of memory though. Weird. Well, we'll just refresh it for now and see if we can keep streaming. If it gets too bad, I might have to restart my computer for it to clear the memory leak or whatever. Huh. Anyway, what I was saying was, if we do an overlay, right? So we could have like a button on here or something that when we hover over it, it pops up something bigger. Cool. Thank you, Mike. That helps to know that it actually is working still. The problem is it's going to be a lengthy list potential, right? So 32 by 32 by 32 could be a lot of different block types, and we're going to have to list out one record for, or one line for each block type effectively. We could also say what's in the tower crane already. That would be another way of doing it. It would be cool if we could sort it based on what's needed next, so that we knew what thing to throw in it. It could wait till there's everything in it, but that's kind of harsh. I guess what I'm stuck on in my mind is we need to know what it's going to look like, how it's going to behave before I can start coding for it. I'm not sure what that should be yet. Can we take a screenshot? Can we do anything on my computer? Cool. There it goes. Let's take a screenshot of this and draw. All right, so if we got rid of this scroll bar, because I don't plan on actually having more than come on, more than 54 slots in this in the long run. And then we could pop up a window over here, something like that maybe, and it just says, you know, actually there's nothing that says that it has to be that tall. My Reddit post getting 600 plus upvotes was awesome. I checked it before I started streaming. It passed 1,500. Or you can say hi to Eagle. What do you mean, Eagle? Hi, Eagle. I had to refresh my YouTube page, so if he said something right as I was refreshing that, I didn't get to see it because it crashed. We could, in theory, make it this tall, right? We don't have to make it limited to just the top half of the screen. There's nothing that says we need to do that. That would give us more room for the text itself and the scroll bar over there as well. It did make it to the top of the FTB Reddit for, you know, at least a few hours. I don't know if it stayed there for 24 hours or not. It's not at the top anymore. At least when I go to it, it's not. The most positive part that I liked about it was I was getting a lot of feedback that was pretty positive and encouraging. So it made me want to work on it even more. Right, and that's Eagle. That's what I'm trying to line out here is not necessarily the blueprint it's working on, but get set what ingredients it's missing still. Right, so what blocks does it need? Ooh. Could we ghost these items? Because that would give us the room we need. Could we set up a ghost item and put it in there? I've never figured out how other mods do ghosting of items. So like an item that's there, it's not there, but you can see it. So like on the right-hand side where I've got this square drawn, we could fill it in with a list. I was initially thinking a text list that says, you know, stone 200, wood 300, and so on. But now I'm wondering, do we just make that like an inventory grid? Like similar to what this is, right? Where it's just a list, a listing, and then fill it up with item stacks that aren't really there. The problem is I don't know how to achieve that item stack look to it, like an item being rendered there without actually the item being there. We would need a couple things too. Like, it would need to have a slot that's like the next thing it needs, and then everything else it needs, right? Down here, let's say. We could also say what blueprint we're working on. There. So active blueprint, TS. The next item needed. You could see if you had that item or not, and then a list of all items in that blueprint. Maybe. Think that would work? It's like if we just had a grid of all the items. I'm kind of shooting from the hip here. I don't know how to achieve a ghost item. But it would help us on other things like the, what do you call it? What's it called? Good grief. The screen, the sorting item. The sorting block I got. Obviously much more precise on this stuff, this layout, but that type of thing. Yes, no, maybe, possibly. We'll get lost. Okay. Hey, Fire. What do we use a robot arm on? That would be good as well. Oh, you're right. I already have the assembly table that lists out some items, doesn't it? No worries, man. That's fine. It does tell us, and it tells us in the hover over for the blueprint, right? It also tells us in here. This kind of fits the idea of the text, but this, I've got this set up in such a way where you scroll through the list by using these buttons. This could still work, definitely. In the case of this, I did it this way partially because I didn't want to confuse people and think they had to drop items on there. This just tells you what you need, and then when you hit the assemble button, it takes these items from your inventory, which is very different than any other Minecraft thing. That may not be a good thing, that's different. I guess this could be confusing as well. People might try and drop them over here. Unless we specifically spelled out this is the required items. What are you talking about? Different is always better. What are you talking about? Different is always better. Oh, I got you. Yeah, but if it's the same as other mods, then it's intuitive, right? For someone that's already played modded, they'll know what to do with it. And even if I can't make them look ghosted by rendering the item like grayed out, I could render the item, then render a gray thing over top of it with transparency on it potentially. The just might shows the movement tells you which, but it doesn't show you. Then the counter on the right side goes down on has that item inventory. This is I'm leaning towards this being plan B, because this will work, right? We can achieve this. I'm leaning towards that being plan B just because I kind of want to push myself to get a ghost item rendered somehow. Because if I can figure that out, then we can make it for other things as well. So let me see if I can achieve this. It may not all happen tonight, but we're gonna give it a try. I don't know if you're watching at all. If you have an opinion one way or the other, let me know though. And if you're not watching, that's fine too.
I was just watching it. 1 second.
It's fine. Don't worry, man. Where is this? This is the tower crane.
I'm also playing a game where the devs seem to think that everybody's deaf.
You mean any game?
No, I've started a couple of games and the devs did not think that people were deaf.
Oh. You found the wild gem then.
Yeah.
Scroll bar. The heck, where's this at?
Okay, now what am I looking at besides you trying to code?
Oh, so trying to think through how to display inside the tower crane, which is the GUI that we've got on the screen here, right? So this is the screen where you load up the tower crane with the items. How to display to them which blocks it needs in order to build out this full blueprint, and what block it specifically needs next. So let's say this area here was the item you needed next. This could be the blueprint name, and this could be all the other items that are needed to build this thing out. You would have to render them like ghost items so that you don't try and pick them up or something.
Okay.
That's one idea. The alternate is to build it like the assembly table with just a list of block names and how many you need. Again, along that right-hand side or somewhere on the screen, that just makes sense like that.
Honestly, I think it would be. Yeah, but then how would you know what you need next?
I could put a next name on here as well if you're thinking the assembly table look is better.
See, it'd be nice if you could put the list in there and then have it be sorted by what they need next right away.
And so I look at that two ways. We could say you need log 1, log 1, log 1, log 1, right? If there's a bunch of logs that you need, and that's the order that they're needed in. But also I could say log 16, door 2, and so on down the list of all the blocks that it needs. And then at the top of that list, say next block is log. And not even give a number, right? Because it's always going to be 1. So the very next thing it needs is 1, but in total it needs 16 logs.
Okay.
That way you can, if it's stuck, figure out why it's stuck quickly by just looking at next. But also, if you've just got everything, you know exactly what it needs and just plop them all in there. I could also, in theory, look and see if that particular item is in it and remove it from the list if you've got it in there. So it's a list of missing items specifically. By the way,
you could do it the way it is right here for the assembly table.
Okay.
And then if you wanted, put another box in between where those arrows are and have that be where the spot for what it needs next is. And then the list below is just total number of stuff that it needs to complete that task. Or that building.
Yes. I can't have it on this part of the screen though, because we need the inventory slots, right? So this is this top part of the screen here in, see if I can make this a different color. Circled in blue is the part where you put your items into the tower crane. Gosh, I can't think of the name of this thing. And then on the right, we could put either the text list of all the items or the pictures of all the items, either one.
I'd say a text list just to cut back on space and cleanliness.
Okay. That's actually 2 then for the text list. Because Eagle was saying, why not just make it like the assembly table? It's his idea.
Besides, you're already going to have a visual list of stuff that it's going to need or that it's got in there. So, I mean,
Where's this? In the world?
I don't know. I'm just rambling on.
Okay. Well, if you were thinking the blueprint that I was trying to render in the world, that's not going so hot, and I'm moving on to the next thing in order to get this thing functional and working, right?
I think your update about that. Yeah,
okay.
I'm totally with you on that.
Like, it'll be cool, and I'm not giving up on it. It's just, in order to get the next update out, I'm trying to just work through all the necessities.
Progress.
I don't want to say this too early, but I think we're getting close on this tower crane to where this is the last thing to make it functional. Then we need to test the crap out of it and add a recipe. And then I think the tower crane might be done. But testing the crap out of it's going to take some time because like I need to test it in all the different rotations and all that kind of junk. And just debug the crap out of it. I was thinking the other way around where you add that to the assembly table. The okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay. What, Eagle? I'm not sure I'm following what you mean, man. Unless you're saying where it just lists out what you need and then you hit the button. The problem with that is this is such a big area, 32 by 32 by 32. I can't expect the player's inventory to hold everything that's needed to build that. Right? Because that's, if they filled in every single block, get the calculator out here. 32 times 32 times 32. That's that many blocks. Divide that by 64. That's 512 stacks. Yeah, Eagle, that's in the fix I've got on my system right now. That fix never made it to the server, I don't think. The bug report. When we get this version that I've got running right now on my screen to the server, if it still happens, let me know. I think that bug's in the public version too. If that furnace is in there, I can't remember. It may not be. Okay, so we're thinking rendering a text list. That should be simple enough. The problem I'm having right now is, what is this thing actually rendering for its background? We're saying init GUI. Where are we getting the background for this? Because I'm not seeing it. Not seeing the texture. Draw screen, but no texture. This is the only resource location, which is the scroll bar. Oh, there it is. Tower crane. So if we go down to tower crane, is this it? Tower crane 2. Ah, here we go. So why aren't we using tower crane 2? That looks more like what we actually need. I don't have Restream running because it's not it updated. I'm assuming it's gonna ask me to log in. Try it again. Oh, it didn't ask me to log in. Cool. It's just being stupid. So like every time Restream updates, it no longer is pinned to my start menu. Like I want it to be. So let's use Tower Crane 2 for a minute and see if this is all lined up still, because if it is, that's awesome, and that's easy, dirty trick to fix this. Because that's closer to what we actually want. Should be able to, if I don't get tricked by the fact that that's a picture. Okay, oh. Cool, it's not rendering right. Oh, extra slash. Okay, so if we moved this scroll bar and stopped drawing the scroll bar, because we don't need a scroll bar, and I can say scroll bar again. Actually, we might need it later, now that I think about it. Just not quite yet. So settings, crane settings. Scroll position. There we go. So we can take those two pieces out. And that should stop drawing the scroll bar then. So this then can move over to the left. And we will move it over to the left by some odd amount, which is right here. Let's see. So button X and Y. So we need to move the X and we want to move it to the left. So it's probably increasing this number. Nope, it's decreasing the number. Too much. Perfect. Okay, we might also just move that somewhere else altogether. What do you mean you think we need to hold on the scroll bar? I'm not going to put more than 54 slots into this thing. It's too much inventory space. That was the reason for that scroll bar originally. The scroll bar would probably have to be over here if we need more items than that though. What I'm going to try and do is consolidate the list down though. We can make this bigger and at the top, say settings on it. I don't know, I'm not worried about the button. Let's worry about creating the list. So we need some function that takes us a tile entity and calculates the list off of it, right? So let's, or the block blueprint array, that's what we need. And that probably should exist in utilities block blueprint helper. So we need to do what I just said. So public string list, or array, I mean. Wow. and it's going to be called get needed items, get missing items, missing blocks. There we go. And it's going to take a array of block states. This one. Okay, hopefully you can hear me still. I had to mute myself, I had to sneeze. Where was it? Block, get missing blocks, there it is. It's gonna take that, and it's gonna take an I inventory. So I inventory. Inventory. Cool, thank you. Continue. We're gonna make it all work here. So we're gonna return. Let's create a string at the top, string array. Oh, we don't know how many are gonna be in it, do we? Kind of need to build this up as we go. So doing a bunch of string array allocations kind of gets expensive. The block state array itself. Maybe we do it as a list then, so we can do adds to it instead. So a list strings. So a list of string. Okay, and we say continue. List string equals string list. New list. I think that's how it works. By a small chance, could we make a tablet that would read that list? I don't know what you mean. Like you right click on the block and it tells you what it needs or something? I never can remember how to instantiate a list of strings. I always have to look it up every time. Instantiate list, sure. Let's say you're building something over 1,000 blocks away from your home, but you can't remember which type of wood you needed. Is that valid? That's valid. Okay. So then we need to do for loop. I get what you're going for. It gets a lot more complicated then though, because then that chunk's not loaded, so we won't have that tile entity information. The tile entity is what stores this block state array. The block state array is what represents the blueprint on the client, blah, blah, blah. Or if you're too far away, the client tile entity might not have the information because it hasn't sent it to you from the network, from the server. Oops. Let's go X on that. For Y, for Z. And we will use this dot length this dot x and x y. There we go. Then maybe we could take it, skid it into a book. Then that block save the update. It would get chunked. It gets reloaded. When the chunk gets reloaded. Either way, I got to do what I'm working on now to figure out what it needs. So I'm going to focus on this now. I'm going to put it into the GUI like I'm talking about to at least get it up and working, because what you're talking about will be a lot more steps. And like I was saying in the Discord, I want to get the have to haves or the need to haves in place, then go for the extra features probably. I hate to say it, but maybe in the next update, right? Because what I've been stuck on this old version as being the public version is because I had too grand of a picture of what should be next, like adding a dimension and a villager house and all these new machines, and it got too much, right? And I want to keep it so that we can keep pumping out updates to it, basically. At least that's my plan. We'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll come up with some grandiose thing and I want to do it again. Anywho, so we take the block state array dot. We need to do the x, the y, and Eagle. Don't take my saying that as a. Don't give me ideas. That's not the point of why I'm saying that. I'm just trying to stay focused. Throw ideas out because they often help. There will come a time when we need new ideas. Get blocks. We need get block dot get registry name. Let me think through that. Registry name's not what we want. We want the name from the world. Just getting excited for it. Cool. I tell you what, Reddit was really like, they had grandiose visions of this thing. People wanted me to like make it not place one block at a time. They wanted it to go like a 2x2x2 area or something and place that, which I get why they're doing that. They're saying it's too slow compared to other mods, but I'm not trying to compete with other mods at the same time, right? Yeah. Where's my blueprint stuff? Item blueprint. Item blueprint. There we go. So in my item blueprint, I get the name of the ingredients, right? Somewhere. Blueprint ingredient. Let's look that up. That's its own class. We're passing this, okay. By firing. The next tier of tower crane? Yeah, maybe the tablet thing you're talking about can be like an upgrade or something. Or not like an upgrade for it, but just an add-on for it, like its own little thing. Like you don't have to have it, but it'd be nice to have. Get item stack display name. Interesting. So we could say, give me the block, give me that block's item. Dot get drop. No, get pick block for the block state. I think the get block only looks at the block state, if I remember right. It does call get item, but get item does not look at the position code. It only looks at state and doesn't look at the world, so we can pass null to both of those. So we can say get pick block on the block state array that we're passing. Does the target need to do anything? What's the heck the target for? Ray trace result. There's nothing. Null, null, null. Okay. Dot get item stack. What was it called? Shoot. That's an item, which is okay. So we then go dot get item stack. What? Dot name. I thought it was case. Whoa. Get item stack display name. Right? Is that valid? No. That is of class item. It returns an item, sorry. This is of type item, Minecraft item. This is item here, which is of type Minecraft item. The heck? Oh, it needs an item stack. For real? Why the heck do they do that? Why, Minecraft? Drives me bonkers. So this item that we're calling this on, we had to pass it as a parameter. Whatever. So that tells me it's going to be easier just to do something like this. So new item. Oh, I'm sorry. Item equals that. And then we can say item dot get item display name, wasn't it? Get display, get item stack display name from the item stack, and we say new item stack item. Wait, did that take it? Let me look. It does take a block, so we could pass the block. Wait, so if I do item dot get, okay. That looks like a simpler one. Item from block. Doesn't have the metadata on it though, does it? We'll just say item for now. Item. Okay, and that's going to be we need to add that to the list here. Wondering if we should do it as a hash map instead. List dot where's my list? String list dot add, so we can tell it the index we're adding it at. But it's not going to give us the count, is it? We need to do this as a hash map or some other structure that can be do what we're after. There is a sort. Let's do it as a hash map with a string in it instead. So it'll be string, which is the name, and then count. So it'll be an integer. Hash map. Hash map. My map. Integer. Instantiate a hash map. New hash map. Come on. String int, and that should be lowercase I. Right? No, doesn't like it. Why not? Let's do it as a map, maybe? Ba-ba-da-ba-doo. Insert dimension to complete reference type. Do you have to have 2 strings for the hash map? I've never tried to do. I guess I've never tried to do it as an integer. I mean, if it's going to be this complex, we can do our own class. And then just do a map of those. You have to spell it out? What? Okay. There we go. Okay, so my map. So we need to do an if my map dot contains key, and the key is going to be this name. So we're going to save this name to a string. Item name equals that. We're going to check if we contain that. If we do contain that, then we're going to say my map dot get item name, and we're going to put in integer count equals that, right? And my map dot there's no update dot replace okay, so item name with count plus 1. Okay. Take my message. Okay, and then I'm gonna return my map at the end of this. Else, so it doesn't exist. Not found in the list, so add it. We're going to say my map dot add. Really is not add dot. I thought there was an add. Is it insert? Put. And we could just put for both. Cool. We'll do that. Okay. And we'll say item name. Hey, Fry.
Hello, I'm back.
Bye back. That should do it. Now we also need to look and see if any of these are air, and if they're air, we don't want to do anything with it. Because there should be no...
Why aren't we doing anything with air anymore?
He's no fun. Doesn't hang out with us enough. Dot is... Oh, come on. It dot is air. Can we just do block dot is air? It's really annoying. Let's pass all of these things that are not needed for anything. Okay, so we're going to say if it is not air, then we are going to add it to the list. Otherwise, we're going to ignore it. Ta-da! And that should be it. And I'm gonna also take these pieces and make their own method out of them, I think. Maybe. I don't know. Let's start with this. Let's get this going into what we need. Oh, we also did not compare this to the inventory. So right now this is just going to list out everything. Okay. That gets more complicated because we need to first get our list of items counted out. Or we change this hash map to a string or just a list of item stacks. That could work. I think we need to do that. I don't know why I went down this path. I wasn't thinking this through. So if we get a list of item stacks that are required, we can increase the count on those item stacks based on how many there are. So we could just say add one each time. We would need to loop through the items. It's going to be so like not efficient to do this though. That's the problem. There's probably no better way of doing it. It's just I don't like the way to do it. Okay, so I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna copy it actually, and we're gonna return something different. I'm gonna comment this out because I want to keep that there because I might change my mind and come back to it. Let's try the item stack method. So item stack. So a list again. Item stacks. So new array list. Get rid of that. Put this as item stack. Save. Import whatever it wants us to import here, please. Okay, and then we don't need to do this junk. And for now, we don't need to do this. So we're just going to get the item. And then we need to loop through every item in our item stack list. So needed items. Yeah, we need to figure out how many total we need. Once we have how many of each item we need, then we can compare to see if we have those in the inventory and reduce that number by what's in the inventory. Because what I was thinking through originally was if we, as we're looking up each of these blocks, reducing what's in the inventory. I guess that would work if we did it one at a time, but if we did it, like if we did a check at real time, we need one log. Oh, we have a log, don't add it to the list. The second time we haven't reduced what's in our inventory by that one log. We haven't consumed it to say we need one less. We have one less available for the next log. Needed items. Okay, so needed items gets. We just add to it if it doesn't already have it, so we need to see if it has it, so we're going to loop through it. So for iterator needed items. Yep, that's what we wanted to do. Iterator, next hash value, next map. So item stack. Okay, so if item stack that one dot, you know, let's rename this is, so I can type it quicker. Is dot get item equals the other item dot get item. Oh, we are an item. Okay, so we're the same item. Same item. So we need to overwrite that particular entry in the list. So is dot count, get count, is dot set count plus 1, like that. Add one more to the needed list. You know what? Let's do down here log helper dot info needed items colon that plus needed dot toString. There we go. So that's if it exists. If it doesn't, then we just add it to the list. So else needed items dot add new item stack item. Lowercase n. Okay, so then we can call this get missing blocks. From our GUI. Client GUI. We'll want to do this quite often, actually, won't we? Let me take a look at something on the container here real quick. Let me add slots to container, transfer stacks. It's the slot objects. This dot merge item stacks. Does it actually go back to the tile entity though? I don't know that it does. It does require an iInventory in, which is an inventory here. And that is used how? Set slot contents. Okay, so when we put a stack in there, it puts it in it. But that's probably only on the server, but it would also be on the client, right? I don't know if we're gonna look into that yet. So we'll get there. Running out of time for tonight too. So not in draw screen, I don't think. We have like a foreground and background. So let's call. We didn't make it static, did we? There we go. So block. Blueprint helper dot get missing blocks, and we're going to give it the tile entities, tower cranes, inventory, block blueprint array, block blueprint array, and I guess it's self because it's an item inventory as well. Okay, so let's see. We're gonna like maybe lag a little bit because this is gonna be logging out to the console every frame. So it'll be slow from that regard, but I will change that later. It's just for debugging purposes right now. We won't have logging turned on once I make sure this is working. Hey, Eagle. Hello, Eagle. Okay, fine, don't talk to me.
I think he's trying to hide.
I can see him right there.
Make sure my mic's going to work.
Okay. It is. I can see him right there. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I had the Discord thing on the stream. Uh-oh. This might be my computer dying from not enough memory or something. Hello? Can you guys hear me still? Hello? Oh, wait, it might be coming back.
Hello?
Hello?
I can hear you.
Could you hear me the whole time?
No.
Yeah. My computer had a panic attack just a moment ago when I tried to run Minecraft.
I can see that on the.
I'm not sure it's any better yet. I haven't restarted it in about a month, and I've been streaming a lot, so it might be the air, the cause of it. It says GL error, actually. Interesting. Yeah, native memory allocation failed to allocate 65k bytes for new chunk. Just had to crash on my computer. What? Ah, I can't see the stream. The chat.
That was kind of black, so wasn't sure what was happening on the stream. So anybody that was watching it should know by now.
And you know what? I think I might know what it's related to. I added a add-on for my Chrome. Maybe I need to remove that because both of my Chrome windows right now are completely locked up. It was this thing that was supposed to give me information about like YouTube videos, like what tags they use and stuff, so that I can better my channel tags and stuff. I'm just gonna remove that extension real quick and see if these problems go away. Remove. Ta-da. Wasn't that super useful anyway. I got what I wanted from it in like the first 5 minutes. Okay, so let me get my stream back up. Boop, there we go. Okay, now if I try and play the game again, is it going to crash is the question. I just want to see this list. That's all I want to do. See if we're close. YouTube says I lost all of my viewers pretty much because of that. Great. There's only 2 people watching now.
I'm watching it.
It's just you and
I'm
me.
not one of them.
Okay, we didn't crash. That's... Oh, well, we did crash. Cool. Crashed for a different reason, though. Line 172. Okay, the line I expected it to. Null pointer exception. Oh, it's... Okay. If... Bink. It's not null. Ta-da! Try number 3. Excuse me. There's a star on the screen. There's a star. Oh, you already seen it.
I want to just sit there and spam it and have your headset blow up with jumps.
Yeah. There is the extension you can use if you do. I think it's this.
You can see him jump. There he goes.
So if you do extension and then click on that link, it'll ask you to authorize it with YouTube or whatever, but then you can control it through the little GUI instead of having to type commands all the time.
Still buggy.
Come on. Don't crash. Don't crash. Hey, we have a screen. And it's saying there's nothing that's needed because we don't have a blueprint selected yet. That makes sense. So let's hit this one. And it's still saying... What? Saying nothing needed still. So let's put a breakpoint in here. It's definitely not null. Oh, that's a different breakpoint anyway. Let's remove that one. Oop. This is the one we want. So step over. Must have been air.
I don't remember how that worked out like that.
Oh. We need a... Oh. Okay. So we're looping through all of the... what we have in the list, but the first time through we have nothing in the list, so it's skipping the part where it adds the first item to the list because there's nothing in the list yet. So... we need another if statement. If... need items... dot count dot size dot what size equals 0, then we just add it, Else we do this loop to look to see what's already in there and add if it's not what we have. Okay, so let's remove this breakpoint, run the code, and it crashes on us. Cool. Rendering screen, rendering entity, concurrent modification exception. Really? Let's try it again, make sure I get this error again. I'm 50-50 if we will or not. If we do, I might need to stop for the night because it's getting too late. I need to take care of some stuff before bed. So I just kind of want to know if it's going to work or not. Synchronized coughing.
It's the new Olympic sport.
Battle Royale. While we wait. Fight to the death. There can be only one.
Hey, I'm gonna take off.
Okay, fine. Okay, night, man.
Okay, Fiery.
See you guys.
Bye.
Let me crash again. Concurrent modification, right? I'm in the lead. Did you do your hashtag win? You did,
Yep.
dang it.
Well, actually works again.
If it does, I'm gonna call hacks for sure. Although it looks like I might be in the lead. You survived it. Oh, I win! Finally! Good game.
Well, that's no fair where I'm like sitting here watching the lag.
Oh. Sorry. Spoiler alert. Yeah, okay. I get why it's doing this now.
Who changed the map on the server?
What do you mean?
A lot bigger
What's a lot bigger?
map.
Like the mini-map? I'm confused. Very confused.
That's a square.
Oh, was it a circle before? I think journey map you can just toggle between different types of mini-maps. Like it's a client setting. You can change it. There's some hotkey.
Only I didn't know how it changed, but somehow I got on one day and it changed.
Yeah, it's a hotkey on your system. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, and I was gonna get on the server with you to see what you're talking about, but apparently my computer thinks it doesn't have enough space to reserve the heap to start Java up. I wonder if I'm out of disk space. That could be the cause of a lot of my problems. Let's take a look at that. I'm not out of disk space. I'm fine. Got plenty of free space. I think it's time to restart my computer, guys. There's too many weird errors going on with my computer tonight. So, I'm going to do that. Everyone have a good night. I will catch you tomorrow. Bye, stream.